Use synthetic division to divide the polynomial by the binomial. So here we have another synthetic division problem. And let's go ahead and set up our half rectangle here. Remember, the constant term in the binomial is our k value. And we're going to put that over here on the outside. Of course, we have to remember we're always going to change the sign. So since this is a positive 5, here I'm going to write it as negative 5. Okay, now we're going to use the coefficients from the polynomial. And before I write those down, I'm just going to label my columns. So if we take a look here, we can see this is a degree 5. Biggest exponent is a 5. So that's going to be my first column here. And then I'm going to need a column for every exponent counting down from a 5. So we'll do v to the power 4, power 3, v squared, v, and last column is for the constant term. Okay, and now we can fill in the coefficients. So for v to the power 5, what's the coefficient? Well, that's this term here, and when you see no number in front, that means it's an invisible 1. So our coefficient is a 1. Our coefficient for v to the power 4 is a 5. Okay, and then next up we have v to the power 3. And if you take a look here, there is no v to the power 3. There's also no v to the power 2. So what do we do when we're missing those terms completely? We can't ignore them. We still have to fill in a value in that column. And if you don't have the term, that means its coefficient is a 0. So we'll put a 0 here and a 0 here. And then for our v term, here's the coefficient, negative 5. And then for our constant term, that's the negative 17. Okay. So there we are. We got those set up. Now it's time to begin the process. What's the process for synthetic division? Well, the first step is always this. You take your first number in your first column and you bring it all the way down below the line. So we'll write that here. And then remember, any number that's below the line, we're going to multiply that. So multiply by the negative 5. So we're going to do 1 times negative 5 and put that answer right here above the line. 1 times negative 5 is a negative 5. So that goes here. And then we're going to add. Add down the column. 5 plus negative 5 gives us a 0. Put that below the line. Repeat the process. 0 times negative 5 is a 0. That's going to go here. And we add down the column. 0 plus 0 is a 0. Put that below the line. Multiply again. 0 times negative 5 is 0 again. And here we have 0 plus 0, and we get 0 again. All right, lots of zeros on this one. Let's do it again. Multiply the 0 times the negative 5, and we get 0. And now add down the column here. Negative 5 plus 0 is a negative 5. And now we're going to multiply negative 5 times negative 5. Negative times negative will give us a positive. And then to finish this off here, add these together. Negative 17 plus 25 is going to give us positive 8. And there we're done with the synthetic division process. Only thing that's left to do now is to write down our final answer. So let's go ahead and do that. All of these numbers down here are the coefficients of our answer. And remember that the answer is always 1 degree less than the original polynomial. So up here we have a degree 5, which means down here, this is going to match up to a degree 4 term. So this is going to be v to the power 4. These are just going to go in order, count down v3, v2, v to the power 1, constant term. And then that last number is always the remainder. And now we can write our answer. So we have 1v4, or in other words, just v to the power 4. And then take a look here. We have 0 as a coefficient for v cubed and v squared and v, which means we're not even going to write those terms at all. The next term that we're going to write is negative 5 as our constant term, so we'll do minus 5. And then the last thing here is our remainder. So remainder gives us a fraction. This number goes on top. It's positive, so I'll put plus. And then the last piece here, what goes here in the bottom of the fraction, that's always going to be the binomial that we were dividing by, v plus 5. Bring that down, put it here, v plus 5. And this is our final answer.